Welcome to Issues. We're so very happy to have you with us this evening. And again, you can go to our website, issuesbda.com. issuesbda.com. There you'll find some more information about the show, and you'll also see previous shows. So again, go to issuesbda.com, and you can even send us an email from there. This evening, we're really excited to have Power Girl from Power 95, but we're going to talk to her about big brothers and big sisters. Welcome, right. Patrina.
Ben, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm actually excited to be here with you. I'm not used to being on the interviewee side. I'm used to being the interviewer, so this is really exciting for me.
Let me tell you, we've been having a conversation before we got on air, just talking and talking away.
Yeah, I can talk. Right?
Okay, what is the main purpose of Big Brothers, Big Sisters?
If you ask me the main purpose, I would say to make a difference in the lives of young people throughout Bermuda. Okay. I would say that's the main purpose of it.
Is there a particular age group? How young and how old do you need to be one of the big brothers? Not the adult, but the child.
The littles, yeah,
yes.
The littles.
What do they call them, littles?
Yeah, we call them littles. So
okay.
The big is the adult, the little is the child. Well, we actually have children between the ages of 5 to 18 years old in our program. Now, we accept them between 5 and I would say about 16, because obviously between 17, 18, they're about to exit the program through natural attrition. So we would say between the ages of 5 and 18, those are the ages of the kids in the program. However, accepting ages, I would say between like 5 and 16. Yeah.
Now, someone then can actually stay in the program from age 5 up to 16, 17 years old. 18 years?
Yeah, that's the age where they actually match out of the program, but that's not to say that the match relationship ends there and there.
Right, right. Because I can imagine if you are a big and you've developed a relationship with one of the littles, it can go on
forever.
Yes.
And see, the thing about it is we tell them, if they're going to enter this program, to make the commitment of at least a year. Like, be in the program for a year, develop a relationship with that child. But what happens is, once you're matched with that child, a year goes across, 2 years go across, 3 years go across, and you just keep on building on that relationship. And even sometimes after the child is 18 and they actually get out of the program, they still remain in contact. We have lots of stories of where the match relationship is still going on, even though they're not matched within our program anymore.
Now, what is the criteria for a little to get in the program?
Well, actually, the criteria for littles is a little bit different, because people would say that we take primarily children from single-parent homes, but that's not always the case, because sometimes you might have a young lady who has both of her parents, but the mother feels or the father feels that maybe the child needs another woman role model for them. Most of the males in our program are actually from single-parent homes. Now, like I said, the children have to be between the ages of 5 and 18 right, to actually get into our program. But really, all it requires is the parent to actually call in and sit down with one of our case managers, let them know the situation. Obviously, there are some circumstances where we will refer the parent elsewhere for the child, because you have some cases that are a little more deep than others.
Right.
But normally, we just need the parent to call in, let us know the circumstance, sit in with the case manager, and the child can get enrolled in the program. And it has to be a parent or the legal guardian of the child. It can't just be like somebody from the community or a neighbor or even a teacher calling in. We have to have the legal guardian or the parent. Yeah.
Now, for the big to get in, what qualification do they need?
They have to have a heart that cares, a listening ear and a heart that cares. A lot of bigs, think that they have to be prestigious or have to be, a certain way. You don't have to be perfect. We're looking for imperfect people. We're looking for real people. In order to get enrolled in the program, obviously, they would have to fill out our application. It's very comprehensive. Some people don't like filling out applications, especially men, but it's very important because we have to get to know who you are. Once you fill out the application, we require 3 references. Basically, you would just give us the name of the references. We'll contact them and get all the information required. We also do a police check, and obviously,
I am glad, very happy you do that.
Yes.
In the society that we live in today, you have to go a little bit extra mile.
You do.
Because you want your littles, you want to feel confident that your littles are going to be okay. So,
and you have to think about safety of children.
Yes.
We have to be careful for child abuse and, what influence this person is going to have on the child. Now, with all that being said, once they are approved to move forward, they have to sit down with the case manager. And what I tell people to do is be as honest as possible. If you lack patience, please say that. We're not going to chase you away because you lack patience. We just need to know who you are, what you do, and what your interests are, because we actually match children up to adults with similar interests. So for example, if you like Manchester United and the little likes Liverpool, we're not going to match you up. No, I'm just kidding. But when it boils down to, because we want the match to work out. So we like to make sure, like, for example, if I know you like sports, but then it's an artsy child, we're not going to match you together, because we want to make sure that you're able to find things that are of similar interest that you like to do together. So, I mean, we tell people to be honest in that aspect, because the case manager also has a final say, you know what I mean, as to if this match is going to be able to happen or not. Once the case manager approves you, you'll be asked to come back and look through files. They'll give you about 3 or 4 files to look through, where you can just see what the children's interests are, what are some of the things that the parents want to work on with the children, and you can sit there and process it, go back and then come back to us and let us know, okay, well, look, I think I want to go with this child, and then the parent, you have to meet the parent. So the parent can still say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable. You see, so the case manager can have that say, but also the parent comes in. And then if the parent approves you, then you move on to the child.
So you have the application process with the references that big brothers, big sisters will check on.
That's right.
You have the police background check. You have the case manager check. And you have the parents who can null and void the whole thing.
And then you have the child.
Oh, yes.
Because when that child comes in,
yes.
and I mean, there have been cases that the child has come in and it's like, we have to listen to the child as well.
Now, how long generally does that process take for a big to be qualified to have a big brother, big sister?
Now, to be very honest, due to police checks and all of the checks and references, it can take a few months, but it really depends on how quickly the police check comes back and how quickly your references respond, because sometimes we're chasing references to come back to us, and then on top of that, with reference to the different meetings. So it can take 2 months. It can. Sometimes it can take 3. It can take less, but it just depends on that whole process, and also getting those meetings, meeting times where the parent can meet with you, child can get with you, all of that as well.
Well, I am really happy to hear that there is the police check, the reference check. So big brothers, big sisters, it appears to me that you're doing everything within your power to make sure that the children are safe.
And just to let you know, we were also SCAR certified as well. Our case managers are big. So we're trying to take whatever steps necessary for the Bermuda public to know that we are taking those next steps to make sure the children are safe.
Now, what kind of time allotment are we talking
about?
Now,
this is the fun part. And you're a man, so I don't want to hurt your feelings, because what happens is a lot of men come in and they're like, oh, I don't have any time. Oh, I don't have it. You know what I mean? And it scares them. Whereas women were like, we'll be stretched beyond control. And we're like, oh, we have time. We can do it. Now, we say 3 hours per week, which sounds like a lot of times. That sounds like a lot of time. However, what do you do in 3 hours per week? 3 hours, I can get on the iPad. I can be on TV. I can be in a church service. I can be walking. Think of the different things that you do within 3 hours. Football game, cricket game. It's not a lot of time when you really put it into perspective. We say that to begin with, because just like if you're courting someone, even though this is not the same thing, but if you're courting someone, in order to get to know them, you have to put in the
time.
Exactly. Once you get to know this child, get to know the family, get to know the ins and outs of this relationship, then you can start formulating, well, you know what, this month I'm not able to do every single week 3 hours. Maybe we can do something big, maybe once a month for this month. Work is tied up. People travel, people get sick, things happen. But as long as that communication, you're emailing, you're calling, you're texting, you're in contact, that child feels appreciated and a part of your family. That's what we're looking for.
As I was mentioning to you, maybe about a month ago, I had my grandchildren and we were at the aquarium. and there was a co-worker there, and I saw her with this child, and I said, to my knowledge, she doesn't have a child at all. And I had an opportunity to talk to the co-worker, and she said she is a big sister.
That's right.
And she went on and on about the nice time that she had with this young lady. She said this young lady even calls her during the week, and they talk. She gives birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, and it really seemed to me, I didn't talk with the little, I talked with the big.
And the big was excited, right?
Yes, the big was.
Let me tell you what happens in our program, and this is the funny part. We get some people that are looking for community service, and they say, you know what, let me do something with children because I like children. Let me get my community service. That's what they label it as. They come in, and they're really interested in helping. So but it's community service. So they assume that it's like, okay, I'm going to pick them up at this time, I'm going to drop them off at this time, and they schedule it in, But then what happens is a relationship develops. They have a child with similar interests that sometimes acts like them, that they have a lot of fun with, and it's kind of like where the adult gains a lot out of it as well. I have one big in particular that said he lacked patience. Well, he got a little, and he said he wanted a challenge. This little, he's actually a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Corville Hilton, I'm gonna put you out there because whenever he goes out, he talks about this. He said, I didn't have any patience. He said, but I'm gonna tell you, my little brother has really built up my patience. He said, and in a good way. He said, now it's like things don't bother him. He's just like, hey. And he wouldn't have never thought that he would have been building up himself because when he entered the program, he's saying, let me help this child, let me build up this child. But he was actually building up himself at the same time. I have another big brother that at first, he was like, okay, his little will call and call and call. Now his little is getting older and is not calling as much. And he's like, do you want to go out this weekend? And he's like, oh my goodness, I'm stalking my little. Whereas before he was thinking, okay, well, but now it's like he's yearning to spend time with the little. And it's so much fun when you see him going out on a bike ride, when you see him parasailing, going out swimming, just doing fun stuff around in the community. Even like we have our tag day, we have some that tag together, we have some that do community service together. It's just a wonderful thing to see.
Now, you mentioned tag day, and I don't know if you know, what is the budget for Big Brothers Big Sisters? Is it a humongous budget, and how difficult is it for you to get funds?
Well, put it this way. Compared to most, I'm not going to say numbers over the air, obviously. I mean, but we do have an audit report, and anybody can come in and request it, most definitely. We give it out to companies as well. Our budget is not as high as some charities in Bermuda because what we've done is we've had a lot of cutbacks. And we're trying to make sure that we're not overspending. We're trying to make sure that we're maintaining a budget that we can handle. So we've done whatever we've had to do to remain operational. The children are still getting service. We still have our case managers. We still have our office administrator, and we still rely on our volunteers. What we're finding is that in a charity, there are people out in the community that are willing to donate their services and their time in areas that we would normally have to pay for. It's very difficult in this economic climate. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very difficult. You have people losing jobs. You have companies closing. Has the funding been the best that it's ever been? No. But we're doing whatever we can to keep operational.
If someone wanted to get in touch with you in terms of donating time or money or just wanting to know how to become a big or how to get their children in, give us a telephone number.
They can call us on 232-2802. 232-2802. That's Big Brothers Big Sister Bermuda. And they can also email us. Well, they can email me, patrina.bbbs, that's 3 B's, 1 S, patrina.bbbs@logic.bm. And they can always contact me and get in contact.
Thank you so much. We've been talking with Patrina O'Connor with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and it's just been a delight to talk with her.
Oh, we're finished already?
Yes, we are. Time is finished, and we will be right back. Welcome back. We had a very interesting conversation with Patrina O'Connor from Big Brothers Big Sisters. Now we will have an equally interesting conversation with some folks from the Sunshine League. However, let me again remind you of our website. It's issuesbda.com, issuesbda.com. You can go to that website, and I believe there's a contact page, and you can send us an email. Okay, now we have the folks from Sunshine League. We have Dr. Glenn Ferris, who's the managing director. We have Colleen DeGrilla, who is the acting chair at the Sunshine League. Now, tell us, Doctor, how did the Sunshine League start?
Well, it started many years ago, before any of us were born, maybe when our parents were young children, or maybe even before they were born. It started in 1919, and it was founded by Miss Agnes May Robinson. And the reason that she founded it, it's really interesting because if you read some excerpts of some of her speeches, the reasons that she gives for starting it are reasons that we are thinking about this very day. There was one speech that she talked about where she was concerned about gangs of young men who were roving around.
Back in 1919?
Back in 1919. Gangs
Wow.
of young men and young women. Anyway, she felt a real burden on her heart to be able to provide services for these individuals that were having difficulty finding a home, difficulty finding work, who were running into troubles with the law. And she decided that there was something that she could do herself and her friends and people that she knew, relatives, that would be able to address some of the social issues that she saw at the time. You may or may not know of the famous photo of the young men diving into the water in Hamilton Harbor off the wharf. We have a picture of that up at the Sunshine League. You should come up and have a look at it one day. But it's an iconic photo, and it was those young men who were called wharf rats, who she saw diving into the water to get pennies that were thrown from tourists that were on the cruise ships at the time, and she was thinking, something has to be done about this. There has to be a better way for these young men to live.
Wow, that is quite interesting. Back in 1919, she was concerned about gangs.
Yes,
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Colleen, now what is the main focus of the Sunshine League now in 2013?
In 2013, our focus is to try to help all children, all youth, all children of Bermuda. In the past, we were more focused with just the children that were living in the home, and now we're broadening we want to help foster parents, we want to help foster children, we want to help kids that are aging out of foster care.
Now, what you say help? What kind of help are you providing for these young people? When you say help, just define that a little bit more for us.
Right now, we're starting next week, we're going to have a foster parent education seminar every week. Every month. We help some children that have previously been in foster care that are in college. We help them buy books. We help with tuition. You know, there's different help. If people come to us and need, like we just donated 70 backpacks to children on the island that had been given to us from an agency in the United States. We're also about to start a new transitional living center.
Oh, tell us about that.
Well, Glenn can probably talk
Yeah.
more about that.
We can both talk about it. One other thing that Colleen didn't touch on that I wanted to mention as well, but just sort of to follow up on her discussion about the fact that we are really seeking to help Bermuda's children and young people as a whole. And our vision now says that we want to see them become healthy, productive, and independent citizens. So we're really focusing on not only their life as a child, but how they progress through adolescence and into adulthood, because that's where we're seeing a lot of the breakdown in our society.
How do you do that? Are you tracking them somehow? Are you giving help at every stage?
That's what we're starting to do. And so because we're focusing not only on individuals in foster care, and even not only individuals that are from a disadvantaged situation. For example, we had a summer camp this year that we partnered with Pride Bermuda, who does life skills training and has been around for a very long time as well. Not as long as us, we're still older than they are. And the focus of that camp was to provide a life skills training curriculum for the young people that came to our camp. And we targeted 14-year-olds because it's an underserved group from the point of view of what are they going to do in the summer. They're a little too young to start working, but they're also a little too old for most summer camps. So we targeted that group, and we had kids from across the spectrum in Bermuda. So it wasn't only young people that came from difficult situations, it wasn't only young people that came from affluent situations, it was a nice cross spectrum.
Something comes to my mind, and either one of you can answer this. is there ever a danger of, you said you had a cross-section, rich, poor, in between, good, bad homes. Now, is there ever a danger of amalgamating or mixing all these various groups together? Is there a danger that the negative things might rub off on those who are, quote-unquote, the good kids?
Well, you know, it was such a positive environment. We didn't really even have anybody that we would divide into the bad kids and the good kids. They just all got along really well. And in fact, we one of the young ladies who was there, who's interested in becoming a journalist, by the way, so we might have to hook her up with you. But we were talking with her about it just the other day, and she said one of the best things about the camp was that she got to meet kids from different backgrounds than her and get to know them a little bit better. Anyway, the whole point of that whole story is that that's one of the things that we're doing to start reaching out to the youth of Bermuda at a younger age than when they turn 18. Helping with the family situations and helping with our foster parent education series will help strengthen families. And so all of these things combined together are ancillary to what our main focus is, which is the Transitional Living Center. And essentially what that is a place where young people who are aging out of foster care, who therefore are turning 18 and now no longer wards of Department of Child and Family Services, or young people who are turning 18 who are living in their own family homes who for whatever reason can't stay there anymore once they become an adult. But in Bermuda, well, in any place, you're really not necessarily ready at 18 to be out on your own. There's the expense of housing. There's how do you find a job if you're just 18 and don't have a lot of training or a lot of experience under your belt. There are things like, I don't know how to do my laundry because Mama always did that. I don't know how to cook my own food. So some of these people are at a disadvantage. And the thing that people who look after youth that are becoming adults have found worldwide is that there's a couple of major issues that they face. One is employment, one is educational, one is healthcare, and one is housing. And so what we would like to do is use our beautiful facility in a way that we can provide support for those individuals in all four of those areas. We'll help them with education if they haven't finished high school. We'll get them enrolled in a GED program. We'll assist them with either academic education or a trade-focused education if that's what they're interested in. We'll help make sure that they do have appropriate health care coverage because, again, once you turn 18, you're not covered by the child subsidy anymore, except in maybe some very unusual circumstances. We'll help them with employment, job readiness skills, interview skills, resume writing skills, and most importantly, we'll provide them with temporary housing until they can find their own permanent housing to live in as a healthy, successful, and independent adult.
Sounds like a very, very huge undertaking. Now, you will have room for about how many young people?
Well, as things stand right now, we would have room, if we went with 2 people per room, similar to a college dorm, we would have room for anywhere between 10 and 14 individuals.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you how would one qualify? I don't know if that's the term, but what would one need to be? How would one get into this transitional program? How would they qualify for this program?
We're expecting that some of our of the individuals that come to us for this program will be referred to us by the Department of Child and Family Services, but people will also be welcome to come and apply on their own. There will be an application form, an intake form that they'll have to fill out. And one thing that's really key, because again, we want to realize that this is transitional independent living. Yes. So this is not just an extension of somebody else caring for you. This is you starting to be able to look after yourself and be responsible for your own actions in your own life. So part of the intake process will be that they will have to come up with what I call, for lack of a better term, an individualized treatment plan. They'll have to set their own goals, and then we will help them meet those goals. So it will be very client-driven, but people will be encouraged to come up and talk to us, and if this is something that would be fitting for their circumstances, to fill out an application, and we'll get them started.
How soon can we see this?
Well, I would like to start yesterday if we could, but you know, these things take a little bit of time getting sorted. I think realistically, if we could have this started and up and running and our first couple of individuals living there by the first of the new year, I would be very happy with that.
Wow.
If we can do that, that's what we're aiming for. Aim high.
So
aim high.
That means you already have a facility.
We own our property.
Right, that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
yeah. So we've got the facility. We have a beautiful kitchen. We have a wonderful garden that we partner with Green Rock and Healthy Harvest that will be used for our program. So there's the bones are there.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, Colleen, do you have any, since this program will be expensive, take some expense, are there any fundraisers that you, Sunshine League, have coming up?
We do actually. We have a lot of great fundraising efforts going on, but particularly right now, starting October 1st, we've partnered with Switzerland, both Switzerlands, for the whole month of October. Every time you eat or drink there, they will ask you, would you like to donate $1 to Sunshine League? And it's kind of a new initiative we're trying here in Bermuda, but I know it works at a lot of places in the States, and they're very excited about taking it on. So that's one of our projects coming in October. We have a concert that's going to partly benefit us in November. We are going to do a Gibbons shopping day in December. We also have our tag day in December.
Oh,
so yeah.
Very excellent.
We've also been very fortunate so far since we were able to sort of recommence fundraising once we sort of had got ourselves focused and organized, and we started raising funds again back in February. We've had some very generous personal donations. We've had some wonderful support and partnership from the corporate community of Bermuda, and some corporations have given us very, very generous donations as well. So things are moving along from that point of view. Of course, it's a never-ending story as far as having to raise funds when you're a charity, but as Bermuda's oldest social services organization, and probably one of its most well-known charities, I think that there's a lot of goodwill that we can use to sort of help us further our cause, and we're looking forward to partnering with all Bermudians across the spectrum.
Let me ask both of you, since you deal with young people, you know, Bermuda, the gang situation, I say it's coming again because it was there in 1919.
Yes.
Are there any reasons or any causes that you could think of for the gang violence that we're seeing now among our young people? Any ideas in terms of the Sunshine League? Say, well, listen, here are some causes, or here are some problems that we see as a result of gang violence. Why are young people entering into gangs?
Well, there are probably experts on gangs and gang mentality and gang structure that might be better poised to answer this question. But my understanding, and it makes sense if you sort of think of the mindset, but gangs in general give individuals who really don't feel like they have a place to belong, they don't have a place of permanence, they don't have a sense of belonging anywhere, a gang gives them a place to belong. So one of the things that we think will be very helpful with our program as far as diminishing gang violence and the crime associated with gangs is that there will be individuals who might otherwise feel somewhat disenfranchised, who once they're in our program and working on their own set of goals and can see themselves with a future that has meaning and that has purpose and that has permanence, it may actually help them avoid the temptation of the lure sort of the gang lifestyle. And as well, if they can have a safe and stable place to live, then they won't necessarily have to maybe be living in areas where they'd be more susceptible to the influences of the gang. So that's how we think that we can help out with that problem, although it's multifactorial, and many other agencies are also seeking to really address the gang issue that we are seeing more and more in Bermuda.
Colleen, if someone would like to get in touch with Sunshine League in terms of giving a contribution or finding out more, what are some contact information?
They can call Sunshine League.
They can call us. The number is 292-4360.
Or we also have a website at www.sunshineleague.bm. We are also on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
Yes, we are. And they can also email. I have my own email address there, but the general email address is admin, A-D-M-I-N, at sunshineleague, all one word, .bm. And anybody who emails or calls, we get right back to them and find out how they want to partner with us.
Thank you so much. We've been talking with Dr. Glenn Ferris and Colleen English DeGrilla from the Sunshine League. And just a quick note, in my other life, Colleen is my supervisor on my job. We thank you so much. We hope that you will join us again next week.